Hello, and welcome back to Ida We Cook With Me. I'm Tanya, and I am excited to make hummus with you today. So for today's ingredient, it is super simple, and it's so easy to make, no heat necessary. There's a couple of things that you're going to need. So here is your list. Some garbanzo beans. Now, I've got 3 different things here to show you. You can use garbanzo beans from a can, super easy. I find this at Costco. Just last night though, I made garbanzo beans from my all-time favorite mail order ranch. It's called Rancho Gordo. This is what the bag that it comes in. And they are so fresh. I love making the garbanzo beans in my pressure cooker. That might be another show, but today what I'm gonna use is last night's pressure cooker garbanzo beans. So about 3 cups of that. That's equivalent to about 2 cans if you're gonna use a can. And you're going to want to rinse them, but then save a little bit of the liquid on the side, and we'll talk about that when we get cooking. You'll need about 2/3 cup of lemon juice. So I've got my fresh lemons here. Always try to use fresh whenever possible. If you don't have it, that's okay. But my preference here in this recipe, because it's so bright and delicious, is fresh lemon juice. Then you wanna have 2 to 3 cloves of garlic. More if you like it a little bit spicier, or a little bit less if you're not so hip on the garlic, but fresh garlic is super important. And then tahini. Tahini are crushed up sesame seeds. Super yummy. I love tahini. And you're gonna need about 1/4 cup of tahini. Some people like it a little heavier on that nutty side. So if that's you, you can just kind of go up a bit, do a little bit of the testing though on that one. And then we've got some secret spices. So 2 secret spices. You're gonna need about a teaspoon of cumin. It adds a little more of kind of a smoky, earthy flavor. Love it. And then this is my secret spice. It's called sumac. I recently found it. It has a lemon essence to it. It's made from berries. And I just find that it adds a fantastic flavor, and save a little bit for the top, because when you want to serve it out to your friends, sprinkling on top looks absolutely delicious. And then salt and pepper. Okay, so I've got my garbanzo beans and I am going to measure them out. I love making my own garbanzo can, which is when I found Rancho Gordo. I was from a very dear friend of ours, Lisa. She introduced me to this farm and I'm hooked. I really like their beans. So they're super fresh. They have expiration dates that I can see. You know how old they are. And in fact, these are the beans that I used this year to grow my own garbanzo beans in my garden. So when I make my garbanzo beans, I'm really careful to do my best not to waste any liquid. I like to repurpose that liquid for soups, or I'm gonna use a little bit of this liquid in here in replacement or a substitute for olive oil. Now, we have our garbanzo beans in. Now it's time to focus on the lemon juice and the garlic. Lemon juice is super important to this recipe. The more lemon juice you put in, the tangier your hummus is going to be. So I like to start initially with about 1/3 cup, and then taste as you go. And if you want it to be tangier, then you can up the ante. So start with 1/3 cup. That's what I have measured out here. It's equivalent to about 2 lemons, which is fantastic. The garlic, when you look at other recipes, usually the garlic will be about 1 clove. I am not a fan of 1 clove garlic hummus. Every time I make it, I up the ante on garlic. Garlic is so good for you. So I have a couple of tricks for you on this garlic. So these guys are ready to go and go right into this container, but some folks struggle with getting the skin off of the garlic, and they're like, put their nails in there. There's no need to do that. You can either use the base of your hand and just kind of press it hard. This I find to be really easy. Just get the flat edge of a knife, or you can even do the flat edge, the backside of a spoon. I've done that, and just press it down. When you press it down, the skin pops off so easy. If you can see this skin just coming right off, you toss that over. I don't care if they look pretty or not, it doesn't matter, because they're all gonna go in here anyway. So throwing these guys in there. The other thing that you wanna think about, if you've got an older food processor, you could potentially use a garlic press. You might wanna use a garlic press to make sure that you don't get clumps of garlic. I haven't had any big issues with this. So I'm now gonna throw in my lemon juice And final ingredients for our fabulous hummus is going to be tahini. As I mentioned before, tahini is crushed up sesame seeds. And this tahini is right off of the shelf. It does not need to be refrigerated. I refrigerate it after I open it, but when it's right off the shelf, it's super, super thin and easy to put in here. Usually it's about the consistency of peanut butter. So that's your tahini, and it adds a really nice flavor. Then I'm doing 1 teaspoon of the cumin. That's one of the secret ingredients. You're not gonna find that in a lot of hummus recipes. And then 1 teaspoon of sumac. This is one of my new favorite spices. I'm using sumac now in a lot of different dishes. It just adds this extra something that has a lemony edge to it, and it's so delicious. And keep some for the side, like I said earlier, just sprinkle it on when you're serving it up. Now, I'm going to be putting in a little extra salt specifically to this recipe. Why? Because when I made my garbanzo beans in my pressure cooker last night, I did not put any salt at all in any of it. I want to control that. So for this specific recipe, I'm going to start with adding in a teaspoon, about 1.5 teaspoons right now. This is all to taste, so be careful. Don't add too much salt because you can't take it away. You'll have to up pretty much all other ingredients to balance that out. All right, now we're about ready to turn this guy on. All right, so we are ready to play this out. We let this blend up for right around 4 to 5 minutes. It took a while. Now, I believe it took a little bit longer for this batch because I made homemade garbanzo beans. And I like my garbanzo beans a little al dente when I eat them on a salad or when I'm gonna crisp them up in my oven. For a hummus, you want them to be a bit softer. So if you are going to make hummus from dried garbanzo beans from scratch, I highly recommend you cook them a little bit longer, and that'll make your food processor time a little bit less. All right, so I'm gonna serve this up and we're gonna make it look really pretty, I hope. Presentation is not my forte. I try, but it's not my forte. So I've got 2 little baby dishes right here, and the hummus is in the dishes. I'm gonna move that there. I'm gonna take this little guy and we're just gonna make it just kind of swirl up a little bit. If you, like I said, if you like your hummus a lot thicker, more like a thick peanut butter consistency, just use less liquid or use more of those garbanzo beans. So that's kind of just a really nice little swirl in there. And then I'm gonna take some of my fresh garbanzo beans, they're drained here, just put a couple right on top in the center, and the juice from the garbanzo bean kind of sits right there when you plop them on there. And then I'm gonna take my sumac. This is that spice I just love so much, and it makes it so pretty. If you don't have sumac, don't worry. You can use paprika, something red. You can even add a little extra of the cumin right on top. But it's pretty, it's cute. Serve it up with some fresh veggies. That is delicious, or your favorite cracker. If you're into crackers, that can be really delicious as well. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you enjoy this hummus in your house as much as we enjoy it in ours. Please comment on what you do to make your hummus unique. What works, what doesn't work. I love the feedback, and we teach each other. That's how we get better, as we cook in the kitchen together. So until we cook again, be well.